Your number one online sports show returns to your screen for the penultimate time. We are on match day 29 in the Battery Premiership and match day 37 tomorrow in the European leagues, while the FA Cup final takes center stage, where Chelsea will take on Manchester City at the Wembley Stadium. Kickoff for that fixture is at 1600 hours. This is All Things Football, your number one online sports show. We are 26 days away from the 23rd FIFA World Cup, where we are going to see the biggest FIFA World Cup ever, where the future starts here. 48 nations, 104 matches, and one champion will all compete against each other in 39 days. In the World Cup that is said to be hosted by three nations, the first to be hosted by three nations after the one that was co-hosted by South Korea and Japan in 2002. However, this one will be hosted by three nations with Canada, Mexico, and United States. United Mexico hosting their third tournament, men's World Cup tournament, with the first one dating all the way back to 1970 and of course 1986. While the United States hosted one all the way back in 1994. While 28-22 World Cup returnees, Canada will be hosting just their first World Cup in two cities. 34 nations, 48 nations, 104 matches, and 16 cities will take center stage at the world's biggest showpiece. Good afternoon, this is All Things Football. My name is Apiwe Roto. A lot has been going on in the world of football. Remember to get in touch on social media with All Things Football _14 on All Things Football on Facebook. Like our page and follow. YouTube, we are All Things Football. Like, comment, and subscribe. Comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notification for the premiere of new episodes. While on TikTok and Instagram, we're at All Things Football _14. Moving on to our news making headlines in the world of football, the Football Union of South Africa has made a promise to chase clubs that owe players outstanding salaries all the way down to amateur ranks. This is a statement that was made by the secretary in Dialo Mutaung, stating that relegated clubs for the Mutaung Motsepe Foundation to the championship to the amateur ranks are generally not obligated to continue paying professional salaries as stipulated by the level contracts. However, this is because the jurisdiction of the Professional National Soccer League, the NSL for short, now falls under the South African Football Association. Then speaking to Football Magazine Kickoff, it stated that we do have that concern because mostly when clubs get relegated, they disappear with players' money because nowadays we can come. They stated that we can come for you even if you are playing in the ABC Motsepe League or at any level there, but down there by taking you to court. If you own things, they will be attached, just like it happened to Chestnut Jumpers versus the TTM case. Just like in the Chestnut Jumpers versus just TTM case, we do have the option of taking you to court and forcing you to pay up. You will only survive by if you do not have any assets, and you do not mind selling your assets, selling your house just to get whatever you owe our clients. The court will attach your assets, so there is no escape for clubs anymore. Moving on to our story, we are, by the way, Orlando Pirates. We're going to talk a lot about Orlando Pirates later, who will be crowned champions with just a win today, with their goal difference working in their favor. We're also going to look at the table as the show commences. We'll continue with our news. The South African Football Association have confirmed a 20 million rand injection from the government, which will come into implementing the video assistant referee or the VR technology machine. With the current footballing season coming to an end, it remains to be seen if the PSL will be one of the few after Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and of course Mauritania. The season comes to an end now. The debates over whether or not the VR system will be implemented. However, Game Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gaten McKenzie, has declared that his department handed SAFA the necessary financial support to implement the system. Speaking to Chairperson Mxolisi Spam, he echoed the minister's sentiments and confirmed that indeed the federation has made great strides in its bid to have VR in use during the 2025-2026 season. Yes, the government has been very generous with us, confirming they given us 20 million rand to implement VR. This was also compared at it was also confirmed at the national executive meeting. We are going to finalize approval of that budget so we can continue with the work. The work started 7 months ago, so it's not that we are only starting now. Fortunately, people who will be in charge of it indicated that they are targeting the start of next season for VAR to be implemented. Now, there have been question marks, however, regarding the implementation strategies of the system and the timeline, particularly in terms of the stadium infrastructure in the country. However, it is worth noting that in the continent is already active in domestic leagues in Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and of course Mauritania. Kaiser Chiefs, Soweto Battery Premiership Giants, Kaiser Orlando Pirates, and Kaiser Chiefs have centered their attention, should I say, monitoring the impressive Golden Arrows men Ayabulela Maklele, who's been impressive during his performances at the Durban-based side Lemonville Golden Arrows. Now, with the season set to conclude, the teams will go undergo some reinforcements, which gets a lot of us excited, namely the transfer which will open, where players will join new teams while others will live to join other new teams, while others will call time on their professional careers. Makwele has emerged as one of the stand-up performers for the Durban-based side after joining from the now defunct Royal AM. In March last year, after Royal AM were expelled, he joined the Durban-based outfit and showed his talent, and he has been establishing himself under key figure as a key component in Coach Mangoba Mngweti's squad, where he's enjoyed an impressive season, contributing 3 goals and 2 assists in 29 appearances. His teammates Siana Ndlovu and Anna Jan and Isaac Cisse are among the players that are linked with moves away from the club. Talking of players on the move, Carl Jurgens, however, has been tied to a 3-year contract by current Nedbank Cup champions and Durban City, who confirmed the signing of the starlet, who has been a target for many sides, namely Mamelodi Sundowns, who also made an approach to the Wynand's Bay side, where he was on loan for the longest time. The newly crowned champions tied the 22-year-old to a 3-year deal, who also attracted interest from Sundowns, however, opted for Durban City, stating that he would like to establish himself into top flight football before going any further. Moving on to our next story, Coach Desiree Ellis play friendlies versus Japan, and during which between the 31st and the 31st of May and the 10th of June in 2 international friendlies. Goalkeepers are usually the usual suspect: Amanda Dlamini, Kaylin Swart, and of course Katla Homoletsane, while defenders include Sneku Guzondi, Fikile Magama, Bamanani Mbani, Antonia Maponya, Asanda Hatebe, Karabo Dlamini, and Lona Temba Mshongo, and of course Pila, while midfielders include midfield maestro the midfield maestro that is Linda Motlalo, Bongega Kamede, Rafilo Jane, who's also captain, Nokolo Tsasane, Isabella Ludwig, and of course Nontlanhla Mthandi, while your forwards include Tabiseng Machia, who made a big impact in the friendlies against Algeria, Torishon Pelo, Bunolo Mukoma, Tembi Khatlane, Gabriel Modeli Sagado makes a return from a long-term injury, and of course Mamelodi Sundowns player Wendy Shongwe. Now, the women's African. Now, these 2 friendlies will serve as preparation for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which will be hosted by Morocco from 26 July to 16 August. The 2022 champions will be looking to maintain a good run following victories over Morocco's counterparts in Algeria. And the Banyana will be paid in Group B with South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and of course Tanzania. Not forgetting not forgetting that in the whoever makes the top four will make top the semifinals will book themselves a place in the 2027 FIFA World Cup Women's FIFA World Cup, which will be held in Brazil. Moving right, still talking news. I can confirm in a statement that still talking football on the news onto our final penultimate bulletin rather. Orbit College have confirmed now there's been news gathering the venue in which Orbit College will play their last game against Orlando Pirates, which will be match day 30, which will be a celebration for Orlando Pirates, which was linked with the Royal Bafokeng Stadium. However, all those football can confirm that that game will no longer take place at Royal Bafokeng Stadium. However, will now be played at the Mbombela Stadium. Or speaking in a statement, Orbit College confirmed that have confirmed that the Betway Premiership fixture in a statement against Orlando Pirates will take place as follows on the date 23rd of May. The 23rd of May, the Bombela Stadium kickoff for that fixture is at 1500 hours. The club appreciates the cooperation and support received from all relevant stakeholders in ensuring that the fixture is hosted at the compliant venue suitable for an occasion of this magnitude. This fixture represents another important moment in Orbit College FC's historic journey in the Betway Premiership, and the club remains committed to delivering a professionally organized event in line with league standards and, of course, the spirit of South African football. Information relating to match day operations and other logical arrangements will be communicated in due course through the club's communication platforms, which was issued by Communications and Marketing of Orbit College. The root cause of the tournament. Now, the root cause behind the venue change was because of what transpired in the 2-0 loss to Mamelodi Sundowns, which took place at the Olympias Park Stadium, which was played out to a sold-out crowd. However, despite the sold-out crowd, it did raise some concern over some security safety on whether or not people will be safe going forward. Then you saw the Kaizer Chiefs game being moved to the Nelson Mandela Bay early in the season instead of the Royal Bafokeng, which was deemed not fit to host which was deemed not unfit by the PSL to host the game. Moving on to our last story, Dr. Kaizer Chiefs and Bafana legend Dr. Kumalo is said to take part in a football initiative in the capital of Abidjan, in the capital city of in the Ivorian capital of Abidjan, in an initiative which is spearheaded by Chelsea and Cote d'Ivoire legend and Salomon Kalou. In a statement that was the Kaizer Chiefs legend will take a trip to Abidjan this week, where he will be a part of the Solomon Kalou for Impact initiative, which aims at supporting social causes and in the country. The match day will see Team Kalou, made up of Kalou's former club and international teammates, face up against a side captained by fellow Chelsea and Cote d'Ivoire legend and Didier Drogba. Dr. Kumalo is set to represent Didier Drogba in what promises to be a celebration of football. According to it, this was a statement made by the Kaizer Chiefs official website, citing that Dr. Kumalo will feature in an exhibition match at the iconic Stade de Felix or Fat Boyne on Saturday, a venue which will hold fond memories for South African fanatics, especially South African footballers, namely Orlando Pirates supporters, where they got this. This is where they got their star, winning the Champions League in 1995. In a statement made by marketing director Jessica Mtanku, believes the visit could further strengthen the relationship between Kaizer Chiefs and Solomon Kalou, who visited Nigeria last year, not so long ago. Having responsibilities of the club in Abidjan will help strengthen ties between Chiefs and Kalou. We are thankful to have been handed an invitation by the Kalou Foundation to be part of the event. We are honored to have Dr. Kumalo represent us along so many world African legends. Yusuf works with our legends, and he will be gaining valuable experience and insights, which will be valuable as we continue to grow the work we do with our former players. This was a statement made by marketing director, and Jessica Mtao, who's also daughter to Dr. Keza Mtao. For us to have Dr. Kumalo play against my brother and me is is something we are looking forward to. We have long admired him. I have a strong bond with Kaiser Chiefs, and we will grow with that. And Dr. and Yusuf visiting us in Abidjan, as quoted in Kaiser Chiefs' website. Meanwhile, Dr. Kaiser Chiefs says he was honored to contribute to a charitable initiative and is relishing the opportunity to share the field with football royalty, namely Didier Drogba, and of course former Chelsea and England captain and John Terry, who will be part of the event. On to our match day 27 fixture results, which took place last week. Now last week we could not have the episode due to a power outage. For that, I would like to apologize. Here's what transpired last week. Golden Arrows and Polokwane City played to a goalless draw. Another draw between other two teams that would not be separated were Marquesi and Marimo Gallants, I beg your pardon, and Richards Bay. TS Galaxy and Chippa United all playing to a 1-0 draw. Orbit College and Amazulu playing to a goalless draw. Mamelodi Sundowns and Siwelele FC. The biggest scoreline in the PSL history, 7-4 beating the one held by Orlando Pirates, where they beat Marimo Gallants by 8 goals to 1. This time we turned the page when with Mamelodi Sundowns winning by 7 goals to 4, while Orlando Pirates proved to be too strong for Makesi at the Peter Mkaba Stadium, beating them by 3 goals to 0. Sunday, we only saw one game. Skukune United losing to Kaiser Chiefs by 2 goals to 0, with Tashrik Morris scoring his first goal alongside a spot kick from Fundo Vilagazi. Premier League results from last week saw Liverpool and Chelsea play to a 1-0 draw. Brighton too strong for Wolves as they fight for their for European football contention, beating them by 3 goals to 0. Fulham going down at home, Craven Cottage by an odd goal. No goals were scored between Sunderland and Manchester United at the Stadium of Light. Manchester City proving to be too strong for Brentford, beating them by 3 goals to 0 to boost their championship, their league contention, their race for the league. Nottingham Forest on Sunday and Newcastle could not be separated, also playing to a 1-0 draw. Crystal Palace and Everton playing to a 2-0 draw, while Burnley and Aston Villa also played to a 2-0 draw at Turf Moor. West Ham fell short at the hands of neighbours Arsenal by an odd goal. Monday Night Football saw Tottenham and Hotspur play to a 1-0 draw. Tuesday saw Mamelodi Sundowns fall short to TS Galaxy for only the third time in PSL history, losing by 3 goals to 2. Despite coming back from 2 goals down to level the score. Wednesday we saw Manchester City, who will be in action today in the FA Cup final by beating Crystal Palace by 3 goals to 0, beg your pardon. While another fixture took place last night between Aston Villa and Liverpool. Aston Villa played their first, confirmed their qualification for the UEFA Champions League, and will be looking to will be chasing European glory, and on Wednesday at Istanbul, where they will be looking to win their first European trophy since 1982, and their first trophy as a club since 1986. Let's look at the table. On the top of the table, Mamelodi Sundowns Battery Premiership. Mamelodi Sundowns are on 30 have played all their 13 games, and they will now focus on the CAF Champions League, which will be played tomorrow afternoon against Asfar Rabat. Orlando Pirates need just one win. With a win today, will be crowned league winners. Provided they win today, they need 3 points to be crowned champions, as the goal difference will work in their favor. Kaiser Chiefs booked their CAF spot in the third spot, which has left club legend Brian Baloyi relatively unimpressed. The fight for the top 8 confirmation will be intensified, as Durban City will be looking to spoil the party for Mamelodi Sundowns, for Orlando Pirates, who will make them have to as a result, win or a draw will may force Orlando Pirates to put the champagne on ice for a moment, so as to wait for the next game. Remember, Mamelodi Sundowns are not out of it just yet. There's still a 3-point gap. Failure to win both games for Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns will be crowned champions. While Magesi will be fighting tooth and nail for really survival, or better yet, a playoff spot, as Kruger United have already confirmed they have already secured promotion to the Betway Premiership. Here's what you can expect today from a footballing point of view. We are on match day 29. Amazulu welcome Kaiser Chiefs at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. All games will kick off at 1500 simultaneously. Chippa United take on Golden Arrows at the Buffalo City Stadium. Orlando Pirates welcome Durban City. A win for Orlando Pirates at the Orlando Amstel Arena and Pirates will be crowned champions. Before being will be handed their trophy after the last game after match day at the end of match day 30 next week. Richards Bay will take on Sekhukhune United at the Mhlatuza Sports Complex. Stellenbosch FC will welcome Orbit College at the Danny Craven Stadium. Sulela FC will welcome Magesi at the Dr. Malamela Stadium, and not forgetting Polokwane City playing Veromo Gallants at the Old Peter Mkaba Stadium. Sunday will see Mamelodi Sundowns play Aspar Rabat at Loftus in the CAF Champions League final tomorrow. Kickoff for the fixture at Loftus is at 1600 hours. Taking center stage today is the FA Cup final. Kickoff for that fixture is 1600 hours. Chelsea will take on Man City at the Wembley Stadium. Will take on Manchester City at the Wembley Stadium. Well, the English Premier League not in today. However, the English Premier League rather, or the Premier League as it's now known, will be live tomorrow with our first game starting off as early as 13:30 South African time. Manchester United will take on Nottingham Forest. Brentford will take on Crystal Palace, and a London derby. Leeds United will take on Brighton. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on Fulham, while Everton take on Sunderland. Newcastle welcome West Ham United is our last game. Monday Night Football will see Arsenal, who will be looking to strengthen their title hopes with the win when they welcome Burnley. While we conclude on Tuesday with Bournemouth taking on Manchester City, while Chelsea will face Tottenham Hotspur in a heated London derby. That's all we have on your show for today. Join us next week for the final episode of All Things Football, the season finale, not the final episode. However, the season will come to an end of All Things Football, so will the footballing season for 2025-2026. Hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed bringing it to you. I must apologize for not showing last week's episode. That was due to a power outage which took over our studio, destabilizing everything. However, the work was there. However, the presentation could not be delivered. That's all we have. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Hit that notification button. Ring that bell for notification of new episodes that premiere every Saturday afternoon at lunch hour. And of course, we are available on Facebook at All Things Football. Please like, share, and subscribe and comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think of the stories you just heard. Which game are you looking forward to? Will Pirates throw up? Will there be a party at the Orlando Amstel Arena? It remains to be seen. With a win, there will be a celebration at Orlando Amstel Arena. However, whether draw for Durban City or a win, the champagne will be put on ice, while Durban City will solidify a spot in the top eight. And while Orlando Pirates will have to wait until next week, where they face Orbit College at the Mbombela Stadium to be crowned champions, if provided they win the tournament. Provided they claim the 3 points. 3 points is on their side, it favors them, by the way. So goal difference works in their favor. Many have deemed the Champion League as Orlando Pirates to lose, as is the case with Arsenal, who will also will also be putting one hand on the league with the win. No room for error on both sides of the league, as Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich have already been crowned champions alongside Barcelona. And of course, the UEFA Champions League, we are going to have a look, dissect that, and what you can expect from that game next week. This has been All Things Football. Hope you enjoyed the show, as I enjoyed bringing it to you. From myself, Apiwe Roto, take care of yourselves, enjoy the show, enjoy the football. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.